Hey guys, I'm Lance. Welcome back to Baling Farm. Sorry we haven't done any recording for a long time lately. We've had a very busy period on the farm, but we thought things are slowing down a little bit. We might try and get back into it. So today we're going to mow some hay. This is the paddock around our potato patch where we have chickens and where the Highland cows sometimes hang out. We don't tend to milk cows off this paddock just because the hassle of trying to keep them out of the potatoes and out of the other vegetables sort of makes it not really worth doing it. I'm going to start mowing today with the big Fergie tractor, the 5445, and then once I've opened the paddock up and done a couple of rounds, I'm going to jump on the old FE35 and with sickle bar mower and do a bit of mowing on that to show you how that works. Tend to do this paddock every year just for hay in small square bales, which we use we sort of have 50 odd every year that we feed to calves and that sort of thing. It's just handy to have for to put in chicken nesting boxes and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'll get the Fergie Hay Rake out later on in the piece to show you guys how that works, and the Massey Ferguson square baler, number 12 square baler, which we will also use. But yeah, at the moment we'll crack on with mowing and get started. Cheers. Alright, so we've started mowing there with the big the Massey Ferguson 5445 and my modern Massey Ferguson mower. I've opened the paddock up, done about 3 or 4 rounds. It's probably cheating really, but it just makes it a little bit easier to follow with a sickle bar mower. So yeah, I'm going to jump in now with the 35. So this is a grey and gold diesel FE35, Ferguson 35, made in 1956. It's actually the oldest one in New Zealand that we know of. The 730th one made. They only made them in this colour scheme for about 10 or 11 months, so it's fairly rare. And it has a mid-mounted Ferguson 779 sickle bar mower, which they work really good, these little mid-mounted mowers, but they weren't that popular, and I think the main reason was just that they sort of stayed on the tractor permanently. Rather than a rear mounted mower that was sort of pull 3 pins and your PTO shaft and you take it off and put it away. So the mid-mounted mower probably got in the way of some other jobs, which is why people didn't tend to buy them. They were actually cheaper in the day than a rear mounted mower, which is funnily enough, and I've actually had this mower on and off a few times, and it's not that difficult, but it still is a bit of mucking around. So yeah, I'm going to get underway here mowing, and we'll show you how that one works. so I'm super happy with how the old Fergie is mowing. I haven't done a lot of work with sickle bar mowers, let alone with the mid-mounted sickle bar mower, apart from a little bit of mucking around, but it is actually humming along. I worked out I can sort of go along 540 RPM, PTO RPM in first gear quite comfortably. It cuts square corners, so you just sort of slow down a little bit, pop your front wheel out a bit, and then you can just mow around the corner, which is great. You don't have to stop and back up, I found. So I'll just have a quick walk around the tractor and just show you roughly how the mower is fitted and how it works. Alright, so it's a big frame you can possibly see down under the tractor there. It's fitted in two places, so this bracket here, it's fitted there, and then there's another bracket you can just see up the front there. About drive from the PTO you can just see here. So this is the drive down to the shaft, and then it runs forward from that shaft to the front of the tractor. This chain here going to the lift arm lifts your mower up and down and works. So you lift your hydraulics, Ferguson hydraulics, and it lifts the mower out of the work. I've found that I need to adjust this leveling box on the link here a little bit, because it's not quite lifting the tip of the mower out of work, but unfortunately it's been sitting and it's seized, so I'm just having to put up with it as it is. Okay, around here is obviously the mower itself. So sickle bar mower, so the drive comes through from the front to this cam here, which then shifts it to sideways motion through this Pitman drive to the mower bar here. So that's your knife and your fingers, spread fingers. So Dad very kindly put new sections on this for me a little while ago. Was it March last year, we had a working day here for Ferguson, celebrating 75 years of Ferguson Tractors in New Zealand. And Dad being of the era when they used these mowers, when they were new, he knew all about fitting new knives, so he's fit new sections to the knife for me. You can see a few there, and sharpened it, and sharpened the inside edges of these fingers, and it is going really, really good. On the end of the mower, for those who don't know, a sickle bar mower, that's called the swath board, and that just pulls the swath over so that when you come around mowing your next row, you can see where the edge of the unmown grass is. It should also have a swath stick, which is bolted up here, and it will stick up the side here, and that just helps fold really tall grass over. But the swath stick unfortunately broke, and I haven't had a chance to fix it, but it is actually working really good without it. So this lever up the side here is actually the tilt lever, so you can adjust the tilt. You push the button on the top, and as you can see, I think hopefully there's 4 different settings. So I've got it leaning back a little bit, just because I'm still learning how to use it, and I was a bit worried that I might bury it in the ground if I had it cutting too low. But I feel it's cutting really good. We'll have a quick look here in the grass that we've cut. As you can see there, it's not leaving anything behind. I could possibly cut a little bit lower. It's probably not quite cutting as low as the modern mower was, but I feel like it's actually doing a great job, so I think I'll just leave it as it is. Yeah, so I just wanted to say I am so happy with how that worked out. I've never really used the sickle bar mower that much, as I said, apart from mucking around a little bit, but it just went absolutely brilliantly. Mowed here, it's pretty close to 2 hectares I think, and apart from a bit of sort of a patch there of red clover, which tested me a little bit, I just had to slow down and do a little bit of backwards and forwards to get through it. No, it just mowed absolutely marvellously. So still takes a little bit longer, 6 foot cut a bar compared to 3 meters, but it was a lot of fun and worked well. Next step, I'm going to grab one of my petrol 35s, one I've recently just bought actually from down at Wanganui, and we've got the PZ hay turner that we're going to put on the back of that, and we'll spin the hay out. Following that, once the hay's dry, the Fergie side delivery hay rake, and then as I mentioned earlier, the number 12 Massey Ferguson Baler. So keep watching, lots more to come, and we'll get stuck into it. Alright, yeah, so that's the mowing is all finished now. Next job of course is to get in to do some tethering, turn the hay over so that it will dry out. It's come over a little bit overcast here today. I'm not really sure, we're not supposed to get any rain, so hopefully we don't. They're saying this cloud's going to burn off after lunch, so with a bit of luck it will. Anyway, so for tethering today, I'm using this beautiful little petrol 35. This is one I've actually recently just picked up down at Wanganui. The reason I bought this one is because it's such a really nice, tidy, original condition. It's come off a sheep farm, which is great because it hasn't been in cow shit, so apart from a little bit of surface rust, there's no rust issues to worry about. And apart from, I gave the ignition system a bit of a birthday when I got it, but apart from that, it just runs really great. On the back, we're turning the hay with this little PZ2000 side delivery hay rake. So yeah, PZ later on got very famous for the hay rake that they made, the hay bob, which you can still buy new today actually. This was before the hay bob era. These were actually manufactured in Holland, but they were assembled in New Zealand in Wanganui, so quite a cool little thing. Tractor and hay rake both come from Wanganui. I bought this from a family in Inglewood. It belonged to their grandfather who had passed away, and he looked after it so well. It's I mean, apart from a bit of surface rust, it's almost in new condition. You can see he smothered it in waste oil every time he was finished using it, so it's just lasted really well. Even down to the original tyres that say made in Sweden on them, so I don't think you'd find too many on their original tyres. So like all hay side delivery hay rakes, this as its name suggests, flicks the hay out the side. So the way that I tend to do it, I don't know whether it's the correct way of doing it or not, but I will head round the paddock one time anti-clockwise, and that just flicks that outside row of hay onto the second row of hay. Then after just doing that once, I'll turn around and go back around the paddock clockwise from then on. So to start with, throw those first two rows back out onto that piece of grass I've just cleared, and then carry on clockwise around the paddock, and that just means that outside bit gets turned over, and hopefully means I've missed no grass. Whether that's the correct way of doing it or not, I'm not sure. I don't have instructions for it. I've tried to find them online, but haven't had much luck. But anyway, we will get into it. I've just been around the paddock one time now, anti-clockwise. Just chucked that outside row in, and now I'm going to flip around, do the rest of the paddock clockwise. So the first and the second row will then go onto this empty bit of grass that I've just made available from chucking that first row in, and then yeah, the rest of the rows will just move one across as we go around. Alright, so finally got the hay nice and dry. It got rained on, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, but that happens unfortunately. Thankfully it was probably only about maybe half a millimetre, 1 millimetre, so not a big deal, just a nuisance. Also has a lot of red clover in this paddock, which is awesome for growing grass, and it makes really good hay, but it takes quite a lot of drying, so that, you know, we struggled with that a little bit, but we finally got there. So it's time to start rowing up. I could have rowed up with a PZ tedder that I had on, but I decided to use the old Ferguson side delivery hay rake today. I really enjoy using this machine, and it makes some really good rows, so I'll have a bit of a walk around and show you this. So these were designed, I'm pretty sure designed in America, so they were made in America, but also, as this one here is, were made in the UK as well. They're actually really quite a rare implement in the UK and Ireland. I'm not sure exactly why, but very few were sold over there, but there was a lot sold in New Zealand and Australia. They are 3-point linkage mounted, PTO driven. So they were first released with a TE20 tractor, which was obviously just engine speed. But on these tractors, on the 35 and 65s, etc., they have ground speed PTO. They are actually perfectly matched to the ground speed PTO, which is awesome for what you're really doing. Rowing up hay nice and slowly means you're not smashing your hay to bits and losing all your grass seed and all that sort of thing. And it also makes it a really nice quiet rake to use. So I'll get into it and I'll let you see how it works. Alright guys, finally time for the fun bit. I get to get the baler out and have a play. So I've dragged out the old rusty crusty 65 out of the shed. I don't think this tractor's been used in a fair while, so it's good to get it out. You'll have to excuse some of the dust and bird shit on it. And the old 12 baler. So this is a Massey Ferguson 12 baler, made in the USA. I got this from a friend, I was given it actually from a friend down in Masterton, Peter Cameron, who just recently passed away, poor old Peter. Did a tiny bit of work to get it running when we got it, but it sort of comes out every year and does 100 odd, 200 odd bales. Drops the occasional knot, but overall it goes really well. I just need to make a comment. Last year, when I last used the baler, I accidentally broke the cover for the PTO shaft, and I forgot all about it. I was supposed to fix it, but I haven't. So I just need to make that comment. It should have a cover on the PTO shaft, and that is why it doesn't. So no, the little baler is actually really tidy. Ticks along okay. Not as fast as some of the later balers, but for the small amount of hay that we do every year, it actually does a great job. And the 65, actually, I bought this off a friend of mine. I haven't had to do a hell of a lot to it. It's a bit choppy, smokes a bit, but really it all works, you know, reasonably well. Doesn't do too bad a job. So we'll jump on the tractor, get into it, start knocking out some hay. Okay guys, next job up after finished baling is we're going to sweep all the hay bales into a pile. So quite commonly used in New Zealand for this job was the homemade hay sweep or bale sweep like this one. Basically all it was, bolts to the front of the tractor with a couple of arms that fold down and you drive around the paddock and collect the bales as you go. and push them into a pile, normally near the hay barn or the truck or tractor to pick them up, just to make the job easier. So yeah, as I said, usually homemade. Quite commonly would have been that big huge bottom bar along the bottom was probably made up from the old haystacker pole, chopped up once the farm went from haystacks into hay bales, and the rest just made with pipe they could get. So to get it into action is pretty simple. We take our flash bale string off, fold our arms down, same on the other side. And that's it basically. So the idea now is to drive it around the paddock, sweep all the bales into a heap, and then come back with the tractor and pick them up.